I think when it comes to Season 5 of Overwatch, I want to say this is the worst point of Overwatch that the game has experienced so far. I'm going to jump out right away and say that this is not a rant about my competitive rank. I don't think I am a grandmaster in high gold. I don't think that I'm the best player in this game. Blah 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 blah. I don't think that. However, I'm an observer. I observe things. I look at something based on what is going on. And from what I can tell, this is the worst part. This is the worst experience Overwatch has had so far. Even if you were really to take it in consideration that there could be worse, that hasn't happened yet. So don't say, well, this is just the worst it's been so far. It's going to get better, because it probably won't get better. It won't. Like, to me, this, in the current state that it is in right now, it's not good enough. Okay? How do we make that good? Well, the answer to that question is simple, but Blizzard has done nothing to do that. Now, again, this isn't a rant about Blizzard, and this isn't a rant about Blizzard. This isn't a rant about this is totally a rant about the community, but this is a rant. I'm not gonna sit here and go, please Blizzard, please, and so I try to suck up to them, because there's no point in doing that. Season 5 has basically become the worst do not play Overwatch aspect of this entire game. Now, I love this game. Back in May of last year, I was totally ignoring this game. I didn't care about this game. Like, I was a part of the TF2 community, and then, I'm like one of these guys that's like, whatever, Overwatch is over there, I'm not going to get into it, yada, yada, yada. And then I get into it. I try it. I watch a guy, I think it looks good, I try it, and I love it. And to say that I hate this game is wrong. However, as someone who's been here essentially from the start of the game, has been out, not during beta, but whatever, I have basically determined that this is the worst. And there are so many instances that are comparable to where it is right now. Triple tank, to me, is the most stale, dumb meta within the game. It's so stale because it's like, okay, what are your, what is the team composition? There were so many, I think it was 24 at the time, heroes at the time that were out during that time, and all about 7 of them were viable, 8 of them maybe. So to me, that's the most stale meta. But the problem with the triple tank meta is that you knew what you were going to expect. There was such this it was stale, but it was also fun enough to engage in. Season 5 and the dive comp basically have boiled down to, this is the team composition. It's not going to get any better until Blizzard steps in and fixes some things or changes some things to make that dive comp go away. Well, Jeff Kaplan says, well, we like dive comp and we want more team compositions to flourish, but we're not going to nerf this one because we think that's unfair. Fair enough. Fair enough. You want multiple you want multiple metas within one certain meta. That's acceptable. I can accept that. However, Blizzard also has to understand that this game is going to have a constantly changing meta. High-tier players don't play what's good. They don't play what they want. They play what's good. If you understand what I'm trying to say. Triple tank meta was so good during Season 3 because triple tank was the best option. That's why the top tier players were always playing triple tank, because it was always just the better option. You could have picked you could pick the subpar option that might work, that works under certain circumstances, that works when you have all your friends who know what team composition you're playing and know how to play that team composition. But most people who are solo queuing in this game will play triple tank. But Season 5 has basically boiled down to, this is the meta you have to play, regardless if you're playing with friends or not, because that's what everybody's playing. And if everybody's playing it, then it's good. The problem, like, I play a card game that's all about rock paper scissors, where one deck isn't just as good as another deck, but might be weak against another deck because it has an effective counter to it. I feel like the Overwatch team wants that meta, in the sense that they're running around and they're like, well, we'd rather have this meta in the game, or we'd rather have tons of metas in the game. But the problem is, with a game like Overwatch, is that isn't going to happen. If it happens, it's not going to happen often. People play what wins. They don't play what they think is fun. If they wanted to have fun, they should have gone to quick play. They shouldn't play competitive, if that's the case. And Blizzard has this fantasy, I call it fantasy, where there is a perfect meta, where every character is at least a little bit viable, but the community isn't going to accept that. Now, let's step away from the competitive comp. Let's say the comp is fine. Okay, let's just say that this set 5 is just the dive comp meta. And, maybe when Doomfist comes out and Season 6 rolls around, the Blizzard team will patch out some stuff and say, okay, well, dive comp is strong, it's still there, it's just weaker. Much like how they did with triple tank. Triple tank is weaker, but it's still there, it's still an option. I feel like the only way for them to achieve that is just to make every option decent, to say the least, and then just kind of let everything else ride itself out. But that's beside the point. Let's talk about the biggest reason why nobody wants to play competitive currently. Throwers and leavers. Now, if there's one thing that I never want to face when I play competitive, it's a leaver. It's a leaver, it's a thrower, it's a guy who's too fucking salty to decide maybe I shouldn't play competitive Overwatch. Or the people who want to play competitive Overwatch, but they're too salty to handle what is happening in front of them right now, so they have to run away. They have to run and hide and dip. So they run, so they leave, and now everybody else gets fucked because this asshole who thought he wanted to play competitive, who had second thoughts, leaves the game, and now we're all screwed. I hate people in this game. Because it's one thing, to get a group of guys. Like, to me, it's get a group of guys. We all queue up. We play quick play. Okay, fine. It's all fine, dandy, whatever. We win, we lose. Doesn't matter. We're just here to have fun. But you get to the competitive. And I know some people who can't play quick play. Or if they do play quick play, they don't play much of it. They play to get going with their competitive session for that day, and that's it. I know some people who don't play quick play at all. They don't even consider it. They only play competitive because to them, that's the only way to play, is with the team coordination, with the strengths, and all that crap. If you're one of those people, you're SOL. You're shit out of luck, because you have that problem. Like, it's one thing for a leaver to leave a quick play match because someone just fills right in. Who cares, Oh, we had somebody leave. Oh, well, we're not going to remember this. Who cares? We're not going to remember this at all, period. But we're sitting over here, and we get into the solo queue, we get into the queue, we get on Oasis, and Oasis plays, and yeah, okay. And then your team loses the first round. I can't handle this, and your team disappears. Why? Oh, because I'll explain why. They're scumbags. There's scumbags who thought that they were totally prepared for competitive, but then they get so tilted that they realize, I don't want to play competitive anymore, so I'm just going to fuck everybody else over. It happens all of the time, and it's happening worse and worse, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. This game is becoming less and less of, I want to get better at blank hero, and it's becoming more and more of, please don't leave, please don't leave, please don't leave, please don't leave. The throwers, moving on to throwers, I know why people throw games. It's easy to understand. It's incredibly easy to understand. They want attention. They want people to look at them, and they're not going to get mad if they don't care if they throw a game and everybody hates them, because they're what they want, their objective, their goal is to be looked at. They want to be looked at, and when they throw, when they walk away, they go sombra, they disappear, they sit in front of the enemy spawn, and they just dance in this competitive mode. They're doing it because they want people to look at them. They don't care who you are. They don't care who you are. They'd rather be a dickhead. I'm not light when it comes to insults, because I know how these people work. They'd rather be a dickhead, piss you off, ruin your day, rather than play legitimately and play as if they should how they should play, because to them all they want is that attention. I hate these people. I hate people like that who only seek the attention, especially in a game like Overwatch, because you're stuck with them. You're stuck with them. You can't control them. So if they decide, let's go play Symmetra and do the sit emote over in the corner near enemy spawn and do nothing the entire game, you're stuck with that, and there's nothing you can do about it. It aggravates the absolute shit out of me, and it doesn't want me to play this. I don't want to play this game. I'm afraid to queue up in competitive, even with my friends. You know, I hop on. We get a trio queue going. We get a dual queue going. Whatever. Let's hop into competitive, and lo and behold, we're met with a thrower. We're met with a lever. I don't want to go into competitive right now. I do not want to play competitive, because I know there's such a high chance of walking into this game and queuing up. Like, I feel sorry for the 4 or 5 queuers that take like 3 minutes to get into a game, only to have somebody leave on them, and they get shit on, and they lose that match because they had a thrower, because they're down 1 man, and now they have to go back in the queue just to do it again. It feels like the punishments that Blizzard issues just aren't doing anything. The punishments are like, oh, you get a slap on the wrist, and that's about it. You know, especially throwers, it's like, oh, you have to wait 24 hours before you can throw again. Well, they don't care. Sure, freaking ban their account, whatever, they don't care. Oh, you can't play competitive for over 24 hours, so I can't throw for 24 hours? Oh, well, how am I going to let people look at me? How am I going to get people to look at me? How am I going to get people to pay attention to me? Because obviously I don't have enough attention in real life. Doesn't do anything, Blizzard. Does not do anything. It does not do anything. Here's what you guys need to do. Leavers need to be banned from competitive altogether. Entire season. 3 strikes, you're out. If you leave 3 times, and what I mean by leave, I mean like willingly leave. Like you actually left. Like someone doesn't report. Like you disconnect, then you reconnect. Like someone who disconnects and then reconnects does not need the report. They should not be reported, because you know, oh, my freaking, oh, my modem, my router has been giving me problems the past week. This isn't the first time that this has happened. Okay, sure, understandable. And then, you know, they reconnect. They say, sorry guys, you know, my internet connection's shitty, whatever. But if they get reports, if they know, like, if this thrower, this lever gets reports, they don't show up and they get reports, then they should be banned from the competitive season throughout the rest of the season. That's 3 months. That's 3 months. That's not, a slap on the wrist and, go, oh, well, you can't do it this time. Sorry. Oh, you can't do it today. Give me 24 hours. I'll be back. No. If they throw, if they leave with no coming back, no explanation, it should be banned for 3 months. Like, appeals should be different. Okay? Like, someone has the right to appeal if it's like, well, I'm having problems with my modem, there should obviously be some kind of, the word I'm going to use here is connection issues. Blizzard should have some documentation of that. We log on their servers, so they should have some kind of information. But the true blue leavers, if they get banned, 3 strikes, you're out. You lose that in the entire competitive season. It doesn't matter if you're Grandmaster, top 500, you leave, 3 strikes, you're out, you're done. You're done, boy. As for the throwers need to be queued up with other throwers. They need to experience, like, there needs to be, like, a separate system where if you report somebody with a thrower, they get a thrower tag, and they can only queue up with other throwers. Now, what that means is they only get a certain amount. That means that they can only queue up with a certain amount of people. If there are only 4 queuers in the entire freaking season of Overwatch per region, then they're stuck with those 4 players. Oh, we don't even have enough to start a competitive match. So you lose out on all the reduced rewards. No, there needs to be harsher actions. There needs to be even harsher actions towards these guys. Because to me, this isn't enough. This isn't enough. There needs to be more. There needs to be bigger repercussions. Because everybody who's playing this game legitimately, everyone who's caught in the crossfire, who has to deal with this shit, they're fucking SOL. They're shit out of luck. They have to deal with this bullshit more than Blizzard has to deal with it. And guess what? Blizzard has barely any punishments for them. Oh, I don't get to throw for 24 hours? Well, congratulations. Everybody who decided to play competitive, not in that 24 hours, doesn't have to deal with you. With you specifically. But what about the rest of the guys? What about the idiots? What about if there's 20 or 30 people who do this? Just in my region. That's what infuriates me. Are the people who there are 30 or 40 people, so it's not just the same guy over and over and over again. It's the same 30 or 40 people who are doing it. Now we got 40 people that we have to deal with. And I don't know how many throwers there are. There could be 100. There could be 100,000 people could be throwers. I'm just doing it from PC experience. I feel drastically sorry for all of the console players who don't have that report system. If they do, then I'm slow, but if they don't have the report system and all the time that they didn't have the report system, I feel sorry for those guys. Because now not only can people throw without basically any repercussion, they do it without repercussion, and they don't even get the slap on the wrist. Oh, you're over there. We don't want to go. It's like Blizzard is like that big fat boss who walks up to you and walks up to the guys that aren't doing their job and say, like, oh, you're not doing your job. Well, you can't go to the vending machines for 24 hours. There's your slap on the wrist. Ha, what are you going to do there? And then there's the assholes that are doing what's, over in the other building that the guy should be issuing slaps to, and he's like, we want to, but we can't right now. Well, there's nothing I can do over there in that building. I know Blizzard is working hard for the report system. They're trying to get it going. I'm not saying that Blizzard is the bad guy here and that we should all blame Blizzard because they haven't been doing it, yada, 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 yada. But I feel bad for the people who not only have to deal with this bullshit, or had to deal with this bullshit. Again, I don't know if the report system's out or not, but they had to deal with this bullshit, and they have to still. If they have to still, I feel bad for those guys, because not only are they ruining your experience, there's nothing you can do about it. Even most people say, well, swatting one mosquito doesn't necessarily stop the pet, doesn't necessarily stop the outbreak. But at the same time, swatting one mosquito is what you can do to reduce it. So even the guys with the report system, they at least have something that they can do. Whereas the Xbox players and the PS4 players, they don't have that. They don't have that benefit. So it's like, even they have nothing. There's nothing that they can do about it. I'm dumbfounded what's happening in this game right now, and how it's so stale, and it's the same story over and over and over again. Lost because the competitive season, lost a game because Somber got salty, or because our McCree got salty, and we got to 4-4 on King of the Hill, and we threw a game, and he threw the last game for us because he was so salty that we couldn't protect it round 3 or whatever. Like, why are you even playing competitive if that's the extent? Like you only have so much. Like, I know competitive requires patience. It does require a lot of patience. And if you don't have the patience to play competitive, then don't play competitive. Well, I mean, I'm Grandmaster, and I have to play a game somehow, or I lose my rank. I fall out of I deteriorate and I go to Diamond, and okay, no. You should have that then you should, if you're Grandmaster, if you have to worry about deterioration of your rank, you probably should be at least, the word I was going to use is intelligent. You should be at least patient enough to get the one game in, to play the one game you have to, like every week or whatever, every day, every week, whatever, and then go about your life. Play the one game. You win, you lose, who cares? Okay? I feel like, now that I think about it, the leavers and the throwers and the assholes, they're scared of losing. They're not determined to win. They're afraid of losing. So what's the difference between determination and fear? Well, based off of just textbook definitions, determination is the gusto and the gung-ho to win the game. Let's win this game, guys. That's determination. Fear is, now, okay, guys, we need to make sure that we do this really, really well, because I'm afraid I'm going to lose here. Fear does not make a good team. You need determination, and most importantly, you need patience. If the Torbjorn totally fucks you over, who gives a shit? Live your life. Who cares? Like, this is coming from a guy that's gold, and one loss could shoot me back to silver. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I don't care if I win or lose, because at the end of the day, I knew I was determined, and I had the patience to continue the game. I didn't sit there and do nothing. So everybody, all these leavers who can't handle the game, you need to sit down. The people who know they leaved and they're like, well, I keep leaving and I know it's bad. You need to look at your competitive, look at your competitive rank. If it doesn't deteriorate, if you're like, oh, I'm platinum and my rank doesn't deteriorate, here's what you need to do. You need to stop playing. Stop playing Overwatch. Go outside, stop playing this game. Take a break, come back next season, and understand that you need patience. Patience is key to winning this game. It's patience, it's mindset, it's determination. There's so many different things. And I feel like that most of the people who play this game don't get it. They don't get that. I hate it, frankly. I hate every moment of it because I'd rather win. I'd rather play this game and win than sit on my ass and do nothing. I want to play this game and I want to win. I have that determination. I'm not going to shit talk my teammates. I have that. I'm one of those guys who gets really, really salty, but not salty enough to make that overflow to my teammates. So this is kind of like, this is almost like a pep talk I'm talking right here about the competitive leavers who know they're leaving and they want to fix that. Walk away from Overwatch a little bit. Stay, in the meta. Try to, keep your head in the meta. Understand what's going on. Just don't play. If you're in a rank that doesn't deteriorate. If you're in a rank that does deteriorate, sit back, figure out your flaws, and try to work on them. I know I do. That's what I do. Okay. So, Season 5. Meta stale. So many leavers and throwers. Can Blizzard recover? Yeah, probably. Here's how I think they should recover when it comes to the stale meta. Do what they always do and just kind of realize what defined the meta, and then change it, because obviously Blizzard wants to make everything at least a little bit viable all of the time. As for the throwers and leavers, give them harsher punishments. If you're leaving and you realize that you're a leaver and you want to change that, do it while you still have time. I don't know Blizzard will ever dish out stronger problems or something, but overall, just kind of think of something. Figure out what's causing the problem, and then fix it next season. If you're in a rank that deteriorates, do it quickly. Try to do it as quickly as possible. So, Blizzard can recover, I think. What about SR? Now, to me, I'm on the line of the SR system has been fucked since Season 1. Apparently, according to the Overwatch team, well, how if you don't know how the SR system works, maybe you just don't care, or maybe you're new and whatever. How the SR system works is it takes into consideration your old rank, and then essentially gives you your old rank, but just a little bit lower, so that you're only about 1 or 2 games to 1 to 10 games, 1 to 10 games that till you're back to where you started. So it's not totally bullshit. You're not like, I was Grandmaster one season, now I'm Bronze another. How did that happen? But at the same time, the game isn't. At the same time, it's still kind of crap. And according to someone on Reddit, I'll thank them in the description of the video. Yeah, I'll say, hey, thanks for bringing this up. It's apparently less beneficial to you as a team, or to you, to switch roles mid-game, and you lose more SR because of it. Now, from the people who played this game, from the TF2 community, according to the people who play Overwatch, the community is based off of the community, or the original aspect of the game, sorry, I'm trailing. The original aspect of the game was someone plays a hero that's causing problems, you play a hero to counter that problem. You play a hero that counters the problem. Well, now that hero is causing a problem, we should switch to another person to do it. So, Soldier's causing problems, Junkrat's causing problems, so someone switches to Winston. Winston causes problems, so someone switches to Reaper. Reaper causes problems, someone switches to Soldier 76. Hey, there's one right in front of me. Okay, that was the original intention. That was the original belief. However, in my view, but that kind of became less black and white and more gray. Now things seem to soft counter a lot of things, and some things still hard counter, but even to an extent, they're not as hard as you think. Just because there are Reapers on the other team does not mean Winston is now a bad pick. Okay, maybe he is a bad pick, but at the same time, it's like a better example is just because Torbjorn is on the battlefield and he's got his turret does not instantly mean Junkrat is now in the meta. Okay? So, my standpoint, my belief is that the game isn't as black and white, but this game, the primary aspect is character switching, hero switching from a DPS to a tank, from a tank to a healer to a DPS, so on and so forth. This kind of unending cycle, this unending cycle that you're one hero, but you should be ready to switch into another hero, no problem. You get less SR for that, or you have more SR deducted, because according to the game system, you didn't do as well as they expected you to. So you lose the SR. You lose more SR. That's bad, because this is a game that preached up, down, left, and right that you should be character switching. If something's wrong, you need to switch your team. You need to switch your team composition. You need to switch your heroes. That's bad, in my opinion. I wouldn't, that's bad. Because now the game system's condemning you to switching when you should have just stuck to blankety blank hero. You should have just stuck to a DPS. You should have just stuck to a tank. You should have just stuck to a healer throughout the entire duration of the game, because you'd lose SR. I think, to me, using the old rank, the season 1 rank to essentially determine the rank of your account for the rest of the game, for the rest of Overwatch's lifetime, was a really shitty move. Because the system has gone through so many different iterations that using the same rank, it's a bad idea. It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But now now there's even more reason that the SR is fucked up. This is the system rating. The SR is fucked up. There's more. There's more to it. And when is it going to end? Is there going to be an end? Are we going to see an SR wipe and a revamp of the system? Because I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Blizzard is just going to say, well, sorry guys, that's just how it is. There's nothing we can do about it. Oh yeah, there's everything you can do about it. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about this SR system. Every time the SR system fucks us over, there's nothing we can do about it. It's all Blizzard. Blizzard. Because at least with the reporting system, we can give them the information of who's throwing, who's not, when it comes to that kind of thing. They have their statistics, and statistics can be seen, within the competitive, but it's at the point where the SR system is totally fucked over. The thrower, there's to me, there's no point in playing competitive Overwatch. Because with the stale metas and the very, very little room for variation, and to people who say, well, the stale meta is kind of a new thing, set 1, the meta was the coin toss. Or not set 1, season 1, the meta was the coin toss. Who won the coin toss determines who wins, essentially. Who wins, who loses, depending on how lucky you are. Set 2 was the freaking Genji season. I remember when Genji got nerfed and all the Genji mains started to collectively cry. There were the two Genji mains. The guys that say, we'll adapt, and the people who say Genji is dead. Guess what? Genji didn't die. I remember when D.Va had the same treatment. Jeff Kaplan jumped out and said that too. The D.Va mains that said D.Va's dead, there's no point in playing D.Va because she was nerfed because of the triple tank meta. Oh, hey, look. D.Va is now considered overpowered. D.Va is now in every dominating meta. Funny how that works. But the people, but to me there's no, but the stale metas are nothing new. I feel like set 4 was the meta where everything was just a little bit viable. There were still some doubts, obviously Junkrat wasn't very good. Well, there was the Bastion meta, but Bastion meta kind of cleared up real quickly. But season 4 was that meta, that that was like it was half good, like half bad, half good. But most people remember the good part because the good part was the second half. But there was stale metas are not a new thing. So season one was the season one was the coin toss. Season two was the Genji meta. Season three was triple tank. Season four was the half bastion, half good meta. And then season five is dive comp. So the competitive comps are stale. Which, hey, I don't care. I don't care if there's a meta, but there's something degrading about having to face the same competitive meta. Based on my observations, I haven't played competitive in a month at least. There's a problem with me when it comes to the meta. You know, I'm okay with having a meta and having the game works, but it's kind of deteriorating when you main all about two heroes. Scratch that. You main all about one hero that actually works, and once that hero's been taken because they're really popular in the meta, there's nothing you can do about it, and you're just kind of stuck. So, but even if we disregard the meta and just assume that every meta will be stale some way or another, and the perfect meta will never exist, now you got to worry about the levers, and you got to worry about the throwers, who plague the competitive format. You know, so you compensate, and you decide there's a thrower, let's compensate, and we need more extra heals. I switch from DPS to healer, something that the Blizzard and the game has been going off of for like the past, I don't know, over a year now, that team switching, character switching is a thing. Okay, the character switching, you get punished for that. So it's like, it's the tower of punishment. It's the tower of punishment. It's the flow chart of punishment. Are you playing dive comp? No, you're gonna have a tough time. Okay, are you playing dive comp? Can you play dive comp? No. Okay, well, you're going to have a tough time in the competitive season then. Oh, wait, there's a thrower here. Oh, are you doing well? No. There will be a thrower. There will be a lever. There will be a thrower and there will be a lever. If you don't deal with a thrower or a lever, then chances are, and you start switching around and you start filling positions that needed to be filled, you're going to lose SR if you lose. You're not going to gain as much SR if you win. Congratulations. Your entire freaking competitive experience today is fucked. And if you need a competitive, and if you have one of these deteriorating ranks where you have to have a competitive, where you have to play competitive, because if you don't, that's not going to work, you are fucked. You are fucked. Your day is going to be absolutely ruined by this stuff. To everybody, everybody says, well, you're looking at worst case scenario. No, this is this is worst case scenario. Yeah, this is worst case scenario, but this is the scenario most common to people. If you're not dealing with the stale meta, like let's say you're in gold and diamond, gold and platinum, and they don't really adhere to the meta, they kind of do their own thing. Okay, you might not have to deal with the stale meta, but chances are you're probably going to see throwers and levers, and if you don't see throwers and levers and you fill positions, that's going to be a tough time. What they're essentially saying is, once you insta-lock a hero, don't switch out of that hero. If you're playing soldier and you have gold DPS, but you realize we don't have enough heals, we have 3 DPS and not enough heals, and you switch healer, that's your fault. Your fault, you're going to lose rank for that. This game is really, really shitty right now. Blizzard needs to step in and fix it, because there's literally nothing we can do as a community. You take the stale meta, you take the dive comp meta, and you create this insurgence of, let's try a different meta. You're either not going to have a lot of followers. You're not going to have a lot of followers right off the bat. And even if you did, you're not going to have a lot of high-tier followers, like Grandmasters and Grandmaster players, because Grandmaster players don't play what they want, or what they want to be good. They play what's good. And dive comp is good. Whereas, whereas, you know, the gold players might say, I don't want to play. I don't want to play Tracer today. I want to play Junkrat. Okay, so you play Junkrat. Who cares, right? But that's the low tier competitive. But that's low tier. You really should not be taking into effect low tier work unless you are low tier. That's the only, then you shouldn't worry about that too much. But high tier, you deal with the stale meta. Chances are. But then you have to deal with the follower. You know, then there are the levers you have to worry about. It's just like, it's a problem all around. There's no the only winning move to not get tilted, to not lose rank, to not worry about these kinds of people is just not to play. Do not play this game. That's the or don't play competitive, because that's the vibe that keeps going and going and going. There's nothing we can do beyond what Blizzard is doing. You can only do so much. We can only do so much. I can only do so much. You can only do so much. The top tier competitive players can only do so much. The bottom of the barrel bronze players can only do so much. There's only certain things that we can do. And there's no way to get out of that on our own. We can't do that. We could try to persuade everybody to start playing a different competitive format and try to get everybody going. Instead of the dive comp, play this new comp that we just made. You know, you might get some followers. You're not going to get a lot of high tier players. Moreover, you're not going to get a lot of because again, the high tier players don't play what they want. They play what's good. So Blizzard needs to step in and change that around. You know, I don't think there'll ever be a perfect meta where everything's viable at least a little bit, but. We can't do the most we can do about throwers and levers is report them. That's as far as we can go. We could probably block them, but that's about it. You know, I think all that does is prevent them from contacting us. But then there's the lower SR rates. There's nothing we can do about that except for run and spit on the one. The most that we can do is just select one hero and play that hero throughout the entire game, and don't play anything else. After that, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. This all has to be Blizzard stepping in. If they don't step in, if they do not step in, we're gonna be fucked. There's gonna be a problem. There's lots of problems anyway. There needs to be some kind of fixing here. And it's not going to be. It's going to take a while. First steps, I would say, to fixing this is try to the worst problem. We need to identify the worst problem. Worst problem is the throwers and the levers, in my opinion. Because there's nothing that we can do about that except for report them. That's all by Blizzard. I think harsher punishments should be dished out. There should be harder punishments. There should be harder this, harder that. 24 hours isn't cutting it. Talk about a month. How about a week? Can't play competitive for a week. Can't play competitive for a month. Can't play competitive for the rest of the season. You keep it up, you can't play competitive, period. They get a new account, well, we'll just keep doing the same thing. Get rid of them. There needs to be harsher punishments. We need harsher punishments. As for the throwers, queue them up only with other throwers. Congratulations, you are stuck with the only 12 people in the entire freaking country, or however many people in the country that can play with you. You are caught playing with the same peers, and chances are, in a game only with throwers, there will be people who are throwing. It's kind of funny. It's funny. It's funny how that works. Everybody wants to be looked at, but they're not special. So special, what everybody wants that too. For the second I'd say is the second biggest problem I'd say is the SR. SR system I think is fucked. I think there should be a lot of maintenance done on it. I don't think there will be a lot of maintenance done currently, because to me there's very, very little point to it. Like Blizzard might say, oh, there's very, very little point to changing it, but it's like there needs to be some maintenance. There needs to be something, because I should not be punished for getting off my high horse as Soldier 76 and going a healer or a tank, as opposed to picking one hero, being shitty at that hero, but being consistently shitty with that hero. And then the last would be the dive comp, because the dive comp, while it does make stale, it's not hurting the game. It's not hurting the game in the grand scale of like throwers and levers. I almost want to argue for the stale meta, because again, metas do exist for a reason, but at the same time, I'm not huge on it. So I'm kind of miffed all around. I really wish the Overwatch competitive was better run, would be the word I'd use. Better run, well maintained, instead of just running around. I'm just gonna go off this and say competitive Overwatch is just in a really shitty position right now. Don't play competitive, because you'll be met with so many problems. Some problems less than others. More problems less than others. You play quick play. Okay, quick play, maybe get hyped for Doomfist. That's the most I could say. And just kind of hope that Blizzard does something about this, because there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about it. Blizzard is the ultimate. Blizzard's the ultimate judge here. They're the judge, jury, and executioner. We're just the bystanders that watch. So that's my rant about the competitive format and the current state of Overwatch right now. If the only difference, I think the only thing that could make this worse is how you played in quick play determines how much SR you get in the current competitive format. And if that is the case, don't play Overwatch. Don't play Overwatch. Stop playing Overwatch. I don't think that is the case, but you get the idea. So, whether or not you agree, disagree, I don't care. This is my opinion. High tier competitive players, save your breath, because I'd rather save your time, save your keys, because frankly I don't care. I don't care enough, because this is my observations. This is what I see. If you disagree, disagree, okay, fine. For the rest of you who agree, disagree, or whatever, that's it. Signing off.